the age of soul quantum evolution. My name is Marga Valverde, and I am here on behalf of myself and the Mission Soul movement. I am the founder of the Mission Brand Mystery School and this beautiful movement, joining forces with all light workers on a mission, aka Mission Souls, to take people with us because we care. Take people with us into timelines of possibility that have not even been created, that don't exist, but we are here to birth and bring into existence realities where more divine possibility, freedom, sovereignty, and divine abundance exist for all, for us all. I have with me this amazing being. Her name is Ciara Young, joining us from Ireland. So welcome, Ciara. And today we're exploring an amazing topic together. More on that on a second. Ciara, I would love if you could take a moment to introduce yourself and share with our audience and listeners who you are and a little bit about you and your mission.
Absolutely. So just like you, Marga, I am a mission soul here on this planet to create whole new realities for all of life. Ultimately, I'm a cosmic traveler, but what I also do for my work is I'm a mystic and a spiritual guide. And I support highly evolved beings, my beings I call the ancient ones, really, really beyond old souls, to remember who they truly are and step into their full purpose on this earth, which is to fulfill the covenant of birthing heaven on earth in a nutshell. That's what we're here for.
Amazing. I love that. Thank you so much. And there are just so many pieces around what you said. So let's go into the topic and let's break all of this down. Guys, today we are going deep on the topic of evolution beyond the artificial matrix. Ciara, I feel like so many of us are so aware of the matrix, you know, whether because of course, culture, popular culture at some point, like brought this thing of the matrix. I had barely heard in my life of someone talking about the artificial matrix. So could you share with us a bit on what specifically is the artificial matrix?
Absolutely. And I'll preface that by saying most people have the concept of the matrix as, you know, the pharmaceutical industry, corporate jobs, the school system, etc., etc. And there's this talk of getting out of the matrix, and it means that. But the matrix that we're talking about now as the artificial matrix, specifically what it is it's a gigantic grid of belief systems that traps awareness. So beautiful light workers who are on this path have the idea, okay, I'm going to get out of that matrix and I'm just going to live in the woods and I'm going to live off, you know, ferns and moss and stuff. And I don't need to have money or anything like that. But they get themselves straight into the bigger artificial matrix that's actually preventing us from living the fullness of our expressed divinity. And it's invisible. That's the thing.
I love how you say that it's something that traps awareness, and how you immediately talk about this is something that has you believe that it really sounds like isolation. It really sounds like a level of spiritual awakening where you are aware that you are aware, but at the same time, you're not capable of integrate into, let's call it society, or into community, or into the world fully. Is that accurate? What could you share about that?
That's very, very, very well put. And I've noticed that part of this artificial matrix and its grid of belief systems, what you just described right now, is exactly something that people bump into. They think they've broken out of what they call the matrix, But then you hit immediately this wall of, okay, now I'm stuck. I can't have abundance. I can't really contribute. I can't be part of things. I can't, create a sacred business if I want to do that. There's this whole other level of entrapment that occurs that so many well-meaning beings who are trying to break free get stuck in. So what you described, yes, it definitely works.
Amazing. So it's so interesting because early on I was literally thinking about how for so many people on earth, after awakening, what they face is a sort of trauma
Yeah.
because you discover, like you find a way of disentangle yourself from so many of the pre-construct ideas, constructs, like you may start growing your garden, you may start you know building your own business, or it's like you can see that you're free of thought in a way, but really the trauma comes from seeing how bad everything is, and this ex excruciating sense and pain caused by powerlessness. And so all I see, like for example, I'm talking around about like a broader level, like of people who awaken, but then like all they do is like sharing news of the elites and all the conspiracy theories, which by this time we all know that they're all true. But so it's like they get stuck there, and so all of the energy is being focused on expanding, let's just say, like all the shit. It's like expanding all that is it's bad. Now, in the context of our conversation, we are bringing another level to this, which is this this human being who awakens and who realizes about the matrix. It's also no ordinary human being. They sound like they have, just like you said, a covenant within their souls. And let's talk about this trauma, how that awakening trauma looks like for them specifically, and to even bring it more to like landing this even more. You mentioned something when we were talking about what we were bringing today to the audience about the soul prison. So what could you share with us in terms of this sort of awakening trauma and the soul prison?
Yes. So what I'm actually going to do, Marga, is I'm just going to answer something that you mentioned a moment ago, and then I'll segue into that because it's the best way to describe it.
Absolutely.
So you were talking about the awakening trauma, and I've noticed one of the key things that shows up within this for beautiful ones on the awakening path is it's not just, realizing, what's going on in the world. It's often that there is quite a significant degree of severance in relationships. So there can be conflict with family, there can be conflict with loved ones, there can be like long-standing romantic partnerships suddenly disintegrate and so on. And if we look at this bit specifically and hone in on that for a moment, what is that? That's trauma from separation consciousness. So there is actually a real matrix. So let's just contrast quickly the artificial matrix versus the real matrix. The artificial one is essentially everything that is not in oneness with source. The real matrix is, in my work, we refer to it as the organizing structure that was designed by the Divine Mother. And it's said that you need a matrix because it holds things together, basically. So everybody wants to get rid of the matrix, and they don't fully understand what this actually means. We need a matrix. It's just a matter of what matrix are we going to have. And the true, real matrix of the Divine Mother has oneness, absolute, indivisible oneness as its baseline. There's no separation. Therefore, there can be no trauma. Therefore, there can be no lack. Therefore, there can be none of these things that are part of the separation-based artificial matrix. So, to speak of the soul prison specifically, this is a level within the artificial matrix that traps people in their recycled, it goes round and round in circles over eons of time, soul level experience of cycling in the dream of separation, which is 100% trauma based. And the thing that this creates as well, I'll just add another point to this actually is what creates the phenomenon that so many beautiful ones experience if you just go round and round and round forever doing shadow work. You said, I love the title that you put for this series that you're doing, healing, etc., etc. It can go on forever, like nonstop. You'll do that for the rest of your life until you realize that there's something beyond that soul prison. So I'll let you speak because I've said a lot there.
That's amazing. I love the depth that you bring to every conversation. And Ciara, I very much want us to go back to this point that you brought up around, like the separation from loved ones, separation from in our relationships. I can very much relate to a time where I could not, of course, it went through so many different stages, but where you feel no one will get you. If your partner is not in the spiritual path, they may not be the right person for you. You don't feel like there is a point of connection between the people who saw you since you were a child. If they love you, I'm talking about your family, because they don't get it, because blah, blah, blah. And it's so interesting because the more I also delve deep on my own work on activating the alchemy of emotions through my heart field, the more I find this, like, there is this love that unites us all. What are we talking about? Like, I have so many people in my life who are not, like, they probably see a lot of my social media and they're like, Marga is crazy, but welcome to my world. But we still love each other so much. And it's not like no one represents like a threat to me. I'm not an outcast. And it's like, oh my God, like this feels so good. So what could you share with us around this point of, like the in relation to that?
I'll just tell you, first of all, I had an uncle say to me a while back, I read everything you put on Facebook. I don't understand a word you're saying, but you're absolutely brilliant. So, yes, beyond this soul prison that's part of the artificial matrix and the field of separation consciousness that dwells there, there is this absolute divine oneness with all of life. And what's really fascinating about this, Marga, is you mentioned about dimensionality and so on. One of the things that occurs often on the awakening path is that we separate out dimensions. So a lot of people have the sense of 3D, 5D, etc., and they're all completely disparate realities. And okay, I'm too 5D, to go to the supermarket, or I can't talk to the farmer down the road because I'm in 5D and stuff like that. So this is where that starts to completely collapse. And there is no difference between anything. I like to view it as the ocean of the one life with distinct currents. So yeah, there's a vibrational frequency to a particular dimension, but it's not separate from any other dimension. And you can truly then be anywhere. You can be in the middle of a city. You can talk to anyone. You can be with anyone. You're comfortable within the sacred space of your own beingness anywhere on the earth. And I can speak personally from my own life. Part of the severe trauma that I've experienced in my lifetime was all around relationships and family relationships and so on. If I was to tell you, I'm not going to because we don't have time, but if I was to tell you the story of that, nobody would believe how I've got from what I had to what I'm experiencing now. The answer is I broke out of that artificial matrix. And not only is the trauma not there anymore, but I actually feel through the perceived separation that I had in the past, how deeply loved I was by life the entire time, and that it was a complete misperception. So what I'm getting at with this, just to make it really specific, is that the artificial matrix, remember we said it's a grid of belief systems. If you think of belief systems as a particular way that you view the world, it tricks us into viewing life in a certain way that's actually not true. So we see separation. It's not true. We experience trauma based on something that's not true. And
I
so
love that.
it's a misperception.
I
Oh.
love it. Oh my goodness. Whew. Like I can feel like the quotes as they are dropping like deeper and deeper and deeper. So Ciara, like how would you say that what is the first step
Mhm.
for one to break free
Yeah.
into this constant looping
Mhm.
of all the thought back, into this constant looping? Because okay, so let's, before we go there, so one of the things that you brought out in our conversation before this interview was how this soul prison
Mm.
has people going around in circles and prevent them to break free into something new. And
Mm.
this something new, you describe it as, is a new reality that you have never experienced before,
Yep.
right? And so we're talking about creational power.
Yep.
We're talking about speaking up. We're talking about deconstructing whatever stands in between you
Mm.
and I was born to be seen. I
Mm.
am the light. My word matters. My word awakens dormant DNA. What I have inside is real. And these are the things that people I can see how they can struggle to break free
Yeah.
from, like whatever prevents them from stepping into that,
Yeah.
when they're constantly buying into this artificial network of constructs that it's just like they are siphoning your power away. It's like you're buying into something, believing that you're not God, that you are not a part
Mm.
of everything that happened, because
Mm.
that's how powerful we are.
Mhm.
All of it always has been orchestrated, every lifetime, every experience, by our own souls and sovereign power.
Mm.
So what then, like and it again, it comes back into this this energy being sucked
Mm.
and incapacity of creating
Mm.
something new that cannot be birthed. It's not like someone is going to tell us, hello, here's the new earth, yeah, like just cross the street and yeah, let's come, let's go. It's like we need to create it like from within by letting go of this separation, constructs and all of these. So knowing, that like this is the path from that separation into boom, I have my creatrix power. What is the very, very first step, you would
Mm.
say, in your opinion, for an ancient soul, a mission soul, a light worker on a mission, or, to really break free from
Absolutely.
that specific soul prison?
So the first step is actually two things in one. The very first thing is recognizing that there is something there that causes us to not see clearly. Okay, so we understand that there is a artificial matrix present, and you need to then assume from that nothing is as it seems. So we're not taking life at face value. We're recognizing nothing is as it seems. Okay, so if you have that as the baseline, this might not be what it looks like if you're in a stuck place, And then from that, you also have to understand nothing is personal. Okay, so there is this gigantic prison that is entrapping everybody in the same way, but in a slightly unique flavor. So the thing that people do is I'm in, I have this, as if you're the only one on the planet who's struggling with something. That's the artificial matrix that's got you like that. So you have to know that's there and you have to decide nothing is personal to me. That's the very, very, very first step. Then
Amazing.
yeah.
Before I ask you for the next step, and could you give us an example of a moment in where you can have catch yourself in the past?
Constantly.
Yeah, that relates to step number one, how that
Yeah.
looked like for you.
So if we talk about, because this is a subject that we're both deeply passionate about, and presumably your listeners are as well, creating something in your sacred business and you're struggling with something, let's say. Sometimes the artificial matrix would have me in this place of, oh my God, I just can't do it. I'm not enough. It must be that what I have isn't of value, etc., etc. And then I'll catch myself and it's like, no, that's not true. Look around. Everybody else is having these same feelings. What does that tell you? It tells you that you have a role to play in breaking this down on behalf of everyone. So then you can come to that place of sovereignty and fire within yourself that says, I refuse to be trapped because I'm here on this planet to bust us all out of this so that we can have heaven on earth together.
I love that so much. Thank
I'm
you.
a
That was
warrior.
really clarifying.
Yes, you're a warrior. We're warriors, warriors bring that fire.
Absolutely. And so from this place of once you realize, wait a second, I cannot be the only one experiencing this. What's truly going on? Am I buying into something that other people are buying into? Let me check on that. Let me actually rewrite the whole story and support with my grain of sand so more people can also break free. And nothing is personal. What's the next step?
So I like to view I like to describe the artificial matrix, I should say, as like a fog that surrounds us, because it's a good way to explain how people often experience it. So once you've done the first step, you start to break free from that fog. And what that does is it brings you back to yourself. Then the next step is that you start to go really, really, really deep within yourself, deep, deep, deep into your own being, and you start to land in claiming your sovereignty, recognizing your power, choosing, deciding, okay, I'm not being lost in this fog anymore. Something has brought me to this place of power. From this place of power, what am I guided to do in response to what's being called forth from me in my life right now? That would be the next step.
Wow, amazing. And so in your personal life, how do you face these moments? Or how does this come up for you? Or how do you face these moments? And what's the thought behind, what's the energy behind this state?
Yeah. So it might be different for every individual, but I'll share from my perspective because you asked. For me, the energy that's always behind it is actually service. And I say this to my clients all of the time because service is such a powerful way to break ourselves out of that illusion of everything being personal. If you can bring it back to, I'm here on a mission. I'm here in service to the planet. There's something beyond me here. That's a very, very, very powerful driver to shatter your own places that you're trapped by something. So that's actually the energy that's always present for me. And I'm always in this sense of, okay, how can I be in service to myself? How can I be in service to the earth? How can I be in service to others? How can I be in service to all of life? And I use that to power me beyond whatever level of resistance I might have to maybe diving into really embodying myself, diving into really owning my power, claiming the life that is mine and so on. I use that as a tool.
I love it. It's almost like, does this level of power serves my service? Yes, no,
Yes,
course
yes.
correct.
I love that. I love that.
And you know, like we like 1, 2, 3. Let's do 1, 2, 3. So to recap, so nothing is as it seems. Nothing is personal. So realizing kind of like the beliefs, the right. That's number one. Showing up in your power, like gauging what is being calling forth from me, and align yourself to that higher intention of I am powerful. I am powerful. I am power embodied. I'm the warrior. And once you nail these two down, because guys, like, I mean, this is something that is not like a 1, 2, 3 for life. Like, you could face this down on every single area of your life, where you're giving your power away to something so simple that happens in any area of your life. As Ciara was saying, it's like we have so many dimensions of us, right? So it's not like, oh, you know, once you become so powerful, right? Because I mean, like for me, I could talk about right now, I'm working on my relationship with self-nurturing and how I perceive the time that I spend cooking, not as something that takes away from me, but how can I rewire my state? And so I mentioned this because, you know, it's like these artificial constructs can be anywhere. And at the same time, it's not like, oh, we must step out of that because of blah, blah. No, 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 relax. Like, we're having a beautiful human experience. We have our whole lives ahead of us. Clearly, if you're listening to this, like, you also have a mission within your soul, and you also are not okay with having areas of your life that vibe with a mediocre state, average, right? And so this is why we do it, because we know it's like it's inherent to us. And so, but so coming back to this, like, Ciara, once you are in that state of, you know, I claim back my power, and I love how you said, you know, through my devotion, through my service, also, you know, like it's like this beautiful marriage of energies. Then what would be the third, let's say, step to make sure that we disentangle that, yeah, from that artificial, that soul prison, right?
The third step, in my opinion, is that you then need to have some kind of practice in place that allows you to keep anchoring in this. Because it's all very well having these big moments of spiritual breakthrough, and then you go and do something else and you're lost again, you know? The fact of the matter is that the artificial prison is actually still there planetarily. Part of what we're doing here is breaking it down. So unless you're on the ball, it'll get you every so often. So we need to find something that we have as our daily practice. And what I've found in my work, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, Marga, is that the right thing is really individual. So I have a whole series of things. For example, I've got a particular way that I do my morning as a ritual. I've got little rituals that I check in throughout the day. I've got practices that I do. One of my beautiful clients says, practice your practices. And I love that. I got practices that I do that keeps me aligned with living from that power now that I've found it. And if I don't do my practices, if I was neglectful, I'd find myself slipping again. And I find that actually number 3 is the thing that a lot of people get stuck on the most. It's that consistency of, okay, how do I now live this? And what am I going to turn to when I have a rough moment? Let's say I have a bad day. Am I just going to veg out on the sofa and watch TV or something like that? I don't even have a TV, but just as an example. Or am I going to go to my practices?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. This is so practical that it's insane. Like, literally anyone that's listened to us right now, I can see how they could grab this, and it's like, yeah, because it's like, okay, so now you know. Now you know, and you catch yourself up, and you made a different choice, and you put yourself in check, and you went back to your true power. But okay, so then what do you choose to do? What is the action that backs up your choice in the physical world. So this is not the time where you're going to sign up into another plant medicine ceremony. No, that's not how we do it. This is not the moment where you're going to go and journal. Maybe, I mean, like maybe if that's part of the practice, potentially, okay, yes, that is definitely way more like a anchor action. But we all like face these moments, right? So me, for myself, I can gather this much from this conversation that is like, okay, if I catch myself, like, let's go back to that example of the area that I'm currently working on, then what is my next action? I'm going to go and build a new pattern. And that new pattern is I'm going to take out the asparagus from the fridge, not while listening to my phone and thinking how much this stupid meal preparation is taking away from my mission and my time and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to grab the asparagus and I'm gonna make it a whole experience. I'm gonna bring them to the counter. I'm going to wash them, I'm going to chop them, I'm gonna get the oil. I'm going to be like, that is my action. That is my action. Otherwise, what are we doing? Because if we go back to the premise of this conversation and this episode, it's breaking breaking free from whatever has us going around in circles and circles to create something new. So it's like, how do you create something new? By creating it, being fully backed by all of your energy. None of your energy is leaking here, none of your energy is leaking there. It's like you're here in the present moment. What is the next action? So for people who are highly missioned, and I know we are reaching the end of the conversation, but talk directly to, like these humans who are highly big-hearted, big mission, and they have gathered so many pearls from this conversation. From your wisdom, what can you share? What would you love to share as a wrapping, as the wrapping thing to these three things, this conversation, if you will?
I love that. So I'd like to go a little bit meta for this one, a little bit more meta than we've been doing. If we talk about truly creating the new, we're actually not going back, we're going forward. So think about life on Earth now compared to 20 years ago. It's like a different universe. You couldn't even compare it. We have been so successful in our mission so far to actually trigger Earth's ascension and beyond that life has changed beyond anything we've ever known before. It's beyond Atlantis, it's beyond Lemuria, it's beyond all of these. And on a slightly more meta level, with the huge soul matrix prison, what it does is it has people constantly trying to go back to their past lifetimes and recreate that. What we need to be doing is extracting everything that we've lived, but realizing what we're moving into we've never lived before. So don't look back. Don't look back. It's in this grasping, how do I get back? How do I get back? How do I get back? That the energy leakage is happening. Look, what's coming forth? What's beckoning beyond the horizon that has never been lived before? Like the grand adventure of completely undiscovered, uncharted territory. It's the most epic quest that has ever been lived. And let yourself feel the excitement and the resonant, there isn't even a word for it. It's like, oh, what's gonna come next? None of us can know. We can only go into it with an open heart. And there's something about that, the open, trusting surrender. We can't know. It's a mystery. That is the exact energy that allows us to align with, I am going there and I will never look back. Don't worry about the shadow work. Don't worry about that stuff. Anything that needs to get refined will, as you just keep moving towards this North Star of a higher reality.
And I guess that is what it means to be a visionary, to be a seer, to, like you're a mystic. You're a mystic, a cosmic mystic, cosmic seer. And I know when you say we cannot even see it, it almost feels like we cannot see it, but there is some sense of knowing.
Yes.
But even that, it's like there is so much mystery around it, because here's the plot twist. It's not one of us who holds the keys. It's like all of us hold different keys. So what's to materialize requires us to be the most glorious, unapologetic, self-expressed key, so that when time comes and more templates become available and more golden bricks on this golden path reveal themselves, we can all like lock arms, wings up, set our wings up, and go and bring so many people with us, so many people, as we are missioned. Mission souls have a very compassionate heart. If you are listening to this, I want you to remember who you are, remember the vastness of your heart. Remember that we are doing this for something so much greater than us. Like some of us were like eating frequency in other galaxies, playing with the unicorns and the cosmic dolphins. Like we had no need to come to this earth where everything can be dense, but we know the truth. This earth is a goddess, a liberated being, and we are just here to reestablish more points of connection, each and every one of us in a very unique and specific way. Thank you so much for all that you bring, Ciara. You are phenomenal. I love this conversation. I look forward to having you again on an even deeper exploration. And for those and so for those listening to us, please share how can they find you, and also what's going on in your world right now that is exciting, offerings that you have, then you can share with our people.
Thank you so much, Marga. It's such a joy. I must admit, when you said 35 minutes, I was like, how am I going to talk that little? I'm not sure how this is going to happen.
And we did it.
So my main website is luminousbeings.ie. And what I'll just share about my offerings is that I have a very broad codex. All ancient souls do. There's kind of a lot that we've explored, like since the dawn of time. And yeah. And so there are a lot of different things going on. And what I always suggest for new people is to just browse and see what pings for you.
Go to the website, scan the website. I mean, you have such great like visuals. I love it. Like you're so artistic in your expression, in your mission brand. It's insane. And also, what's your Instagram page? So for those of you who like, where else could people find nice formats with you of content where they can learn even more from you?
My Instagram is liberated.light.leaders. Liberated Light Leaders. And you'll find me sharing all of my new stuff through there as well.
Amazing. Beautiful. Well, and I've seen you posting a lot in your timeline. I don't know how active you are on Facebook, but at least like I know there are vast libraries of, interviews and lives there where you go super, super, super deep.
True.
So that is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being here for the very first episode and seeing this like baby born. I love you so much. And for all of you watching, keep an eye out for our next episode of The Age of Soul Quantum Evolution, Beyond Personal Development and Shadow Work. See you soon.